Kia ora, I'm Sherry Kinnear and these are the latest New Zealand Herald headlines. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has delivered the commencement speech at Harvard University. It's the first in-person commencement event since 2019 and she's the 17th sitting world leader to address Harvard graduates at commencement. In her speech, she challenged social media giants and warned the roughly 8,000 graduates about the dangers of disinformation.
For disinformation corrodes the foundation of our liberal democracy, our ability to assess facts on their merits and to adjust course accordingly. And while we cannot change everything about the environment we are in, we can change ourselves to build greater strength and resilience in spite of the headwinds around us.
Local leaders in South Auckland are looking to broker a deal to stop a surge in shootings. Homes in suburbs right across the city have been hit more than a dozen times since Saturday night in a string of drive-bys. Rival gangs, the Killer Bees and tribesmen are understood to be at the centre of the turf war. The Otara Network Action Committee met on Wednesday night and is considering mediating an agreement between the gangs. New Zealand and Australia may need to front up cash to keep the Pacific out of China's pocket. China's putting forward a draft pact to at least 10 Pacific Island nations ahead of a foreign ministers meeting in Fiji on Monday. It would provide funding and broad support on matters like policing, education and environmental initiatives in exchange for cooperation. A balancing act for first home buyers to decide when to get into the market off the back of a double hike in the official cash rate. The Reserve Bank lifted the OCR this week by 50 basis points to 2%. Century 21 owner Tim Kerrin says if property values fall, then it's easier to get your deposit, but you'll be paying more in a mortgage as rates rise.
Well, we think it's actually worth considering or having your calculator out and thinking about it now as a comparison, because a lot of first home buyers do not consider the interest rates, because that's ultimately the cost of a house.
There's calls for a change of tack as Auckland's congestion problem gets worse. The new report shows when the city was not in lockdown mid last year, average morning travel times were worse than the 3 years prior to the pandemic. A trip on the southern motorway from Papakura to the CBD took 7 minutes longer last June than the 2 years before. In world news, Russian forces are closing in on Ukrainian troops in the country's eastern Donbas region. The Ukrainian government says fighting is at maximum intensity and is escalating, with Russia close to securing several key cities. And actor Kevin Spacey is facing fresh charges of sexual assault, this time in the UK. He's been charged with sexually assaulting 3 men. The charges relate to incidents in London and Gloucestershire between 2005 and 2013. And those are the latest New Zealand Herald headlines. For more and to stay up to date, head to nzherald.co.nz. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. To stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald, click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here, and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.